Well, hey guys, this is Chad Joyce with Palm Real Estate, and we are here in Mesquite, Texas today. We're at 4841 Shands Drive. Check out this foreclosure here, see if we can get a look at it. It's pouring outside right now, so I'm trying to stay underneath this tree and not get completely soaked. But we'll go in, we'll check on this property. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. This was built in 1969. So you can get that better view there. Oops. There we go. And 1,874 square feet. Haven't been inside it yet, but this is a good area for people who are looking for first-time home buyers, do a rehab type deal, and for investment properties for rentals. We got a school across the street, park, we got basketball courts, open areas. So this is a really good area for people to come be in. Let's go ahead and check it out and see what we see. All right, here we are. Don't know if we have any power in this guy, so let's see what we can find here. Got the flashlight just in case. Nope, doesn't look like we have power. Well, you come on in. These floors, I don't know if they come across really well, but they're not in bad shape. I don't think they're, particularly good looking, but you got some. It's like a marble square with some wood around it. Front entryway, looks like we've got a little hole here. But this definitely looks like a do-it-yourself. Somebody textured over the light fixture and never replaced it. That's interesting. Do have a little bit of a settlement crack right here. Probably not a good place for that to be, right on the doorway. When you come right on in, walk to the right, there is, looks like this may have been used as a bedroom or a play area, but this is actually a dining area. This is a mixture of marble and some strange wood type tile, faux tile. Definitely need to be replaced. Light fixtures up here. The ceiling's been painted blue along with over here, which, that's not bad for a little kids area, but again, this would be something that I would recommend someone painting over. Looks like they added an outlet here and they cut too big into the wall. So you got that. We have a missing light switch over here. So it looks like we have some electrical work that needs to be done. And outlet hanging out right here. There is a broken window here. These appear to be the original windows. These are single pane windows. Yeah, here's one with the actual lock. Those are the old locks right there. They used to be on these 1970s. I believe this is 1969 home. So let's walk on this way. Again, here's another settlement crack, just to point it out. Definitely not my cup of tea in terms of paint and style. I always, when you see things like that on the ceiling, you always wonder what it is. I'm sure everyone can get a little creative on what that is. It honestly looks like someone, I don't know. I don't even want to render a guess. Looks like this is where the refrigerator was. They had a little water problem back there, or maybe that's along the dishwasher. Had a little water leak there, so I would suspect that needs to be replaced. We're seeing there's a lot of cosmetic repairs and stuff that needs to be done. The cabinets are not in good shape. The countertops are not bad. I mean, that's a generic granite type countertop. Nothing wrong with that, but over here you can see we got beat up cabinets and stuff like that. See original cabinets, and I've said before in videos, I'm a proponent of keeping those. I like the style. Like you have nice little features like this, and you can paint them to be a really good color, and you can put new hardware on them to really make them stand out and pop. So you don't have to get new cabinets. Like, a lot of new cabinets are not going to have something like this up here. Looks like we have a window leak here. This window was replaced, but something happened here. That's not an original window there. So there's a little bit of water damage there. This must have been where the actual refrigerator was, which is a really weird place, because that's the water line, but there's basically no room. If you're a big guy like me, You're going to be sucking in to get past that fridge. All right. Washer, well, there's the washer connection. Or dryer connection, washer connection's over here. What do we got in here? Oh, hot water heater. Again, remember, we look for the serial number on these. Wow, this one is TC4313997. I would have to actually look that one up. I mean, it doesn't look like it's too old of a unit, but I would suspect it's probably, that model number is RG15. That 15 may reference the year it was built. So I was going to say it's about 10 years old. Let's go out here to the garage. Hopefully we don't get mugged. And you can hear the rain coming down out here. There's the furnace. That doesn't appear to be working. Looks like somebody had taken that off. It is a gas furnace, which is nice. Those are more efficient. But I would suspect on this house, you probably need to get a new furnace. Looks like somebody took a dive through the ceiling. You got your, the reason I say that, here's your attic access. Somebody probably missed the beam and stepped on that and came right on down. Either that or there's a roof leak up there, which it's hard to tell. I'm not really seeing any water dripping, considering it's raining today. Right over here, same thing. I don't see any active water coming in, which I guess that's one of the positives. If you're going to go view a house on a rainy day, you can see if water's coming through the roof. Here's the old electrical panel. Probably if you're going to replace this one, you're going to have to bring it up to code. You're going to have to run it to the outside. So unless you really have to, if those things get grandfathered in, I just leave it alone. Oh man, I didn't even see this. Look at that. They ripped up the wood piece there. Oh, there. I wonder if prior owner had dogs. So, and always watch out for things like this. This appears to be where the vent went, but that's the grounded wire at least. At least the hot and, positive and negative wires are covered, but be careful when you go into these homes. You don't want to touch anything that's exposed like that because you never know. There's our fireplace. This is a gas burning fireplace. There's our connector right there. So that's not bad. I'm looking up at the ceiling. You got, I don't know if you guys can see it. We got two little skylights right here. Don't see any water coming in through them. There was tape on the ceiling for some reason. Not sure what that was for. Let's walk back this way. Got another living area. Now, this appears to be an add-on. Most definitely. Oh, look, and they added a walkway. So there's a new hallway that goes into the primary bathroom, it looks like. Trying to be more efficient. I suspect this probably goes outside. Let's see if I can get that. Yep, goes outside. We'll just stick our head out. Again, it's pouring out there. I'm not going to go out there. That's all locked in there anyways. All right. We do have a little bit of, because there's some water damage that's been through, at least on this part. So definitely would get a roofer out here to have a look at it. Looks like whoever was doing this was, they were in the middle of doing some remodels, because look the reason they pulled that out, I make a joke about making a new hallway, but that's probably the easiest way to get the shower tub combo out from the prior one. Just pull it through the wall and then redo it. So it looks like there was some rehab that was going on, and they just weren't able to finish it. So let's see what we got here. Here's our secondary bathroom. Again, I don't have any lights. Oh, I do. The light worked. And they sing hallelujah. Again, see, I really like this older style cabinetry. It just has some flair to it. you can repaint it, make that look really nice and good. This whole shower area and tub needs to be redone. You could probably get the whole bathroom, like they had water damage down there, so there's probably some plumbing issues as well. And this is the original vanity that was originally put in the property. And we got our 1970s hanging lights again. I love that. But to fix something like that, you're probably looking at about $4,000, depending on what you want to buy. So just to remember, see if I can get my light to work again. Well, I would turn this light on, but I don't trust that. So we'll try to do this with a flashlight. We got paint in here. Looks like, not sure what was going on. Someone was scraping, sanding the wall or something right here. Older windows, those are the original windows in the property. We'd probably want to replace those. Let's get some light back on here. So this looks to be just normal cosmetic stuff. We've got some sheetrock repairs. We do need a door because, well, the door's missing. So you have to put that on in there. Here's our, well, I wonder if that one on the out in the garage is not being used anymore. You have to get an AC guy out here. Usually for a house of this size, you're not going to have two furnaces. That one's new. You're pretty new in there. So I suspect they probably moved in and then just didn't take the old one out. Okay, trying to open the door here. It's going to shut on me. Come on in. Yeah, they had pets. You can see they chewed up the wood trim there. But again, this room isn't in bad shape. Even though we have noticed a couple of settling cracks, the building is walking pretty flat. This would just need some cosmetic work, putting new doors and new paint, new flooring. It'd probably have to be for everything in the house. So here's the primary. See if I get my flashlight to work. See if this will work this time. Oh, there we go. Looks like they were doing an add-on over here or just a little accent wall. Here's the closet. They pulled out some shelving right there. Not sure why. And if you're really tiny, you can get into that attic access. That's what they used to do with all those older homes. They used to not have the step-down attic stairs. They had those little tiny attic accesses. And they do actually have two different floorings on this floor. So again, like just with the rest of the house, we're probably looking at $35 to $45 a square foot for a total remodel of cosmetics. Primary bathroom, they had started to do something. I would pull all this up and just start over. Yeah, you can see there's where the bathtub used to be. Probably was one of those jacuzzi tubs. And they were adding in, doing some tile work and everything here. So, you're probably looking at $45 a square foot for the house for repairs and things like that. To kind of get all the cosmetics done. Have to check on that roof and have to check on the electrical and have to check on the HVAC. So let's go back to the office and let's check out the numbers, see how this one works out. All right, guys, we're back in the office here and we're going to review 4841 Shands Drive in Mesquite. I'm kind of excited about this one because I think for an investor, this is going to be a unique strategy in order to make a profit. And I think there's a lot of opportunity here for investors to get into these niches that other investors are not into. Traditionally with investment real estate, you're looking at fix and flips and you're looking at buy and hold. As we'll see here, I don't really think either one of those options work, but there are two other options that we can talk about here as we go through this. So firstly, real quick, you can see we got the property here. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath home, 1,874 square feet. Now again, there was that add-on in the back, so I would recommend getting the house remeasured. This house may be bigger than that it actually says here. We're built in 1969. There was a carport. Again, it was raining when we were there, so I didn't go out there. It was raining pretty hard. It wasn't just sprinkling. But We had a carport, and there's a 2-car garage, which is right here. So there's 4 covered parking spots. That's kind of the information we got there. When we pull up the comps, all right, I've got pulled here, we end up with 3 active listings right here, and then 3 sales. These are the only sales in the last 90 days. That's all I looked at. And when we look at that very quickly, we see this one on stall cut, 4744 stall cut, 1,800 square feet, 4 bed, 2 bath, sold for $355. So that's a very strong comparable property. Let's take a look at the pictures and see if, kind of see what the finish out was. Looking at this really quickly, you can already see that this is, the home has been rehabbed. We got a nice drive up, nice interior, recessed lighting, open space, quartz waterfall countertops, stainless steel appliances, nice backsplash. So this home has been updated. This is what we'd be looking to do with the property on Shands, sorry. So this is a good comp. I would say the market value is right there at $355. So let's look at the normal 12-month rental process. And on this property, there's only one rental in the community. It's 1,946 square feet for $2,200. That's the only rental. So that tells me there's not a lot of rental activity in this community. That's the only one in the last 12 months. So based on that, I would say that $2,100 of rent would be reasonable for an 1,874 square foot property. So we'll pull up our calculator. We'll go back to our general information. This is right here. I just fill out all the general information that I keep track of. Right here I put our ARV. There's our purchase price, which I set at the ask price to kind of give a worst case scenario. I estimated the cosmetics to do a complete rehab on that house at $40 a square foot, plus $8,000 in foundation, $4,000 in electrical, and then $4,000 in the roof. You can see all those right here. Okay, and let me scroll it up. There you go. Now you can see the roof. So that gives us about $90,000 of total repairs. I have our rent estimated at $2,100 a month. You can see right there. Taxes are $6,452, which I believe we could probably get adjusted down. So if we go back, here's my fix and flip calculator. We have our resale value, 2.5% commission here for an agent. So if you are listing it with an agent, that's going to be a little higher. Since I sell my properties myself, I don't charge myself a commission. I estimate the title policy here, that's going to be a little high, so you'll save a little money there, and about $1,000 of title fees. So, and then I estimate the taxes, gives you a net at $336. We're all in right up here at $343. So the estimate on this one would be a loss of $7,000 to fix and flip. Not what we're looking for when we're looking to invest in something. Now, if we take a look at this, we can see if we're going to rent the property out, get an 80% LTV loan at 8% interest. Let's see, that's B25 plus B26. So that's this number plus that number right there. And we're getting 80% of that. Okay? So that gives a payment of $2,000. Maintenance, $143. There's no, if you're managing this yourself, there's no management fee, there's no HOA here. Taxes are high, insurance maybe a little bit higher than that. But this kind of gives you an idea, rough and dirty. If you rented that property, you're going to expect to lose $750 a month. That's assuming nothing bad happens. But there are other options for you. One thing that is becoming very prevalent is obviously Airbnb. They've been around. There is a website, it's called rabbu.com. You can see it right up here, rabbu.com. You can enter any address in here. Go enter your own address. It's kind of fun to see what happens. And it will give you an estimate. You have to tell it how many bedrooms there are. Now I'm going to actually say there's 4 bedrooms because I'm going to assume that that back area, we'll turn that into a bedroom. And so this will tell you, give you an estimate of how much you can expect to make a year. So this is saying $231 average daily rate. You can see right here. Sorry, it's kind of weird. And you can expect a 33% occupancy. So at that, let's take our calculator, 231 times 30 days times 0.3 for occupancy. You're almost right at 2,100. So there's really no advantages on this one. But look where this one is. This one's out. This is kind of in a suburb area. There's not much around it that's going to draw people in. This is something that you can do, like if you had this property over in East Dallas or closer to Deep Ellum or closer to White Rock Lake, this is something to really look at, to consider turning your property into an Airbnb. And I think you could probably get better than a 33% occupancy rate. But this is just another tool in your arsenal to make some money. The other one is a company called Pad Split. And what they do is they help you renovate the home and then you lease out the individual rooms. So you have common areas. On this one, I already pulled up the area. Basically, the rooms are going for $175 to $209 a week. So let's say you get $175 a week times 3 rooms. Oops, 175 times 4, so that's a month times 3. You're still at 2,100. But the key here is if you can turn that back room into a bedroom, you can get another $700. So now you're looking at $2,800 a month. And so let's go back to our calculator. Put that 2,800 in there. Now you're getting close to breaking even. Again, this may not work in this room, in this property, but these are two things that should be in your arsenal as an investor and things to consider when you're investing in properties, because this will give you an advantage. If you can buy this property, let's say you can get the seller to come down to $225. Now you're making $116 a month on Pad Split, plus you're getting the appreciation on that property. So there's a lot of little nuances that you can do with this home. And it's kind of intriguing to me. I would take a closer look at this property. May not ultimately go out and buy it if I was an investor, but I would definitely have a closer look and see if Airbnb or Rabu or Pad Split or some of these other companies, some of their other strategies for leasing out homes, see if that can work on this home. Hey guys, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough. I hope that when we're analyzing the property, we got some good ideas of unique things that you can do with this home. This home does offer some pretty interesting perspectives, but you're going to have to get creative. And I don't mean necessarily in terms of financing, but have to get creative in what you do with your remodel, how you set it up, and how you want to lease the property out if that's the way you want to go. If you want to be a homeowner, this property definitely does offer opportunity for you to get in here and if you want to do the work yourself, which I wouldn't recommend because you do have electrical and other things to do. But if you want to do that work yourself, you can definitely get some sweat equity in this property. Again, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about real estate, my contact information is below. Hit like and subscribe. Make sure you don't miss any of our future episodes on foreclosures. We do Foreclosure Fridays on Friday, Touring Tuesdays on Tuesdays, and then as we get other, properties, we kind of put those out there as well. So thank you guys for watching. Have a good one. We'll see you next week.